Hello, let's read a book today. It's called Journey to Jazzland, written by Gia Volterra de Saulnier, illustrated by Emily Zieroth. One day, during an orchestra rehearsal, Windy Flute was playing a piece of music, and her mind started to wander. Over and over, she had practiced the piece and played the piece. Feeling bored, she felt that she wanted to be a little different. Then something special happened. She began to hear notes that weren't on the page of sheet music on her stand. When she started playing what she heard, Windy realized these new notes made her feel better. The harmonies and the melodies were the same, but the music moved differently. Before she could figure things out, she was interrupted by a stern voice. "Excuse me, Miss Flute. Do you mind playing with the rest of us?" "Where do you think you are? Jazzland?" said Mr. Conductor, scowling down at her. After the rehearsal, Mr. Conductor gave Windy a severe look and stomped off the stage. Windy turned to her friends in the woodwind section. "What's Jazzland?" she asked. She was still thinking about the good feeling she got from playing different notes. "It's a myth," said Mr. Bassoon. "That's right," said Mr. Oboe. "It's a legend. It doesn't really exist." "I think it exists," said Split's trumpet. "Really? You do?" "What is it?" Windy was so excited. She almost knocked over her music stand. "I think Jazzland is a place where instruments in a group have the freedom to play their own music," Split said with a big smile. "That sounds great," Windy said to Splits. "I wonder how I can get there." "Hey, are you really going to find this place?" asked Splits. "Yes, I want to go now, since rehearsal is over," she said. "I want to see if I can find it." "Well, in that case, I'm coming too," Split said, as he put his sheet music away. "And if the stories are true, we're going to need some more friends to help us get there." Windy smiled at her friend, who was brassier than she was. Then Windy and Splits set out on their journey to find Jazzland. They walked for a while until they saw an old grand piano standing outside of the store. "Hello there, I'm Windy Flute," said Windy in her softest, friendliest voice. "Are you okay?" "Hello," moaned the piano. "Hey, don't I know you?" asked Splits. "You're Ebony Piano. Didn't we play a concert a long time ago?" "Split's trumpet, it's good to see you," the piano smiled, remembering Splits from when they played together many years before. "What's the matter?" asked Splits. "Well, I've been thrown out here because no one seems to want to play with me anymore." The piano played a melancholy note. "Everyone wants to play with the newer electronic pianos more than me." "We're on our way to find Jazzland," said Windy. You could join us if you'd like." "That would be great. My playing would be a little rusty, but I think that I can do it," she said with a great toothy smile. "I know that we need a whole group before we can get to Jazzland. I tried to go once and I couldn't get there alone. We'll need more musical instruments to make our sound fuller." "What do you mean by fuller?" asked Splits. "We could mix different kinds of melodies played by you and Windy with some chords played by a guitar and me. If we add a brass guitar and drums, we'd have a rhythm section. That would make us sound full. The air would be full of our music." Windy, Splits, and Ebony wanted to make it the full sound together. They hoped they would find more friends to make their journey to Jazzland with them. They hadn't walked far when they heard some notes coming from a saxophone. It was playing on the sidewalk beneath a flickering lamp post. "That saxophone is an old friend of mine," said Ebony. "We've played together many times before. They rushed over, and Ebony made the introductions. "Hi, everyone. This is Reed Sax," said Ebony. "Reed, this is Windy Flute, and another old friend, Split's trumpet." "Nice to meet you all," said the saxophone. "Hey, where are you guys going?" "We're going to find Jazzland." "I wish I were going too," Reed said, and he played some jazzy notes to a song that sounded familiar to them. "You should come with us," the instrument shouted. "That would be very cool," said Reed. "Let's see if we can make it there or together." "You mean we could go right now?" Splits wasn't sure they were ready. Can we get there on our own?" "Well, Windy has soft, soothing tones. I have a smooth, brassy sound, and the grand piano gives us a nice combination of rhythm and stringy sound." Reed turned to Splits. "You, my friend, and are very powerful. Why don't you try to blow a loud note?" "Well, okay." Splits took a deep breath, and then he made a loud, piercing sound. It was so loud that Windy had to cover her ears. Reed smiled and said, "Now listen, what happens when Ebony plays a chord and you play a note?" That's a little above your note, while Windy plays a note a little below mine. Ready? We'll all go together. On the count of 4. I'll count it out. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Her Reed saxophone blew while Ebony played her chord. Her Splits played one note and Windy played another note, and Windy added hers. They were playing together, and they made one chord of music that really stood out. "Wow," said Splits. They had made a beautiful sound, but it wasn't enough to get them to Jazzland. Ebony said, "I think we need more sounds." "Like what?" Splits was becoming very concerned. How many more instruments would they need? Ebony mentioned drums, a bass, and a guitar. Windy shouted, "I hear a guitar." They hurried towards the music. Sure enough, they saw a guitar playing a tune as it sat on a stool. "Hey, where are you cats going?" inquired the guitar. "We're going to find Jazzland," said Reed. "I heard that's a very cool place," the guitar said as he climbed down from the stool. "Can I come with you?" "Sure," Reed said. He introduced the others and asked, "What's your name?" "Hey, man, I'm Sly Guitar. My cousin Boomer would want to come with us, too." "What does Boomer play?" asked Windy. "Bass, man. You need a bass to go to Jazzland. Boomer can help us get across the bridge." All but Ebony gasped. "Nobody told us about a bridge before. I don't know if I can cross a bridge," said Splits, nervously spitting. "I should have remembered to tell you about the bridge," said Ebony, embarrassed for not telling them earlier. "Man, don't worry, I can help you cross, but you need Boomer's help too," said Sly. "Why?" asked Windy. "Well, I can give you a rhythmic, stringy sound as well as a sliding sound." Sly slid his hand down his neck to make the sliding sound. "And Boomer can give us a low, stringy sound with a powerful rhythm." "I think we should meet him," said Ebony. "Let's go." They found Boomer Bass standing with some drums near the bridge. Most of the group had never seen anything like this bridge. It had musical notes in it. Some parts of the bridge were very narrow, and it didn't look very sturdy or strong. "Is this the bridge we have to cross?" Split's voice quivered a bit. "Yes, that's the bridge to Jazzland. You have to cross it in order to get there," Kit Drum said as he brushed herself off. There's not another way." "Well, I guess we can all do it together, right?" Split's voice grew loud. He was trying to make himself feel brave. "Sure, I'll be right alongside of you, Splits. We all will." won't we, gang? Said Wendy to her brassy friend. Okay, I'll be right behind everyone, just to make sure we all get across. Splits was still trying to find his courage. Noticing the lake beneath the bridge, Wendy asked, What is that lake called? It's called Improv Lake, Ebony replied. I've heard that crazy things happen to anyone who falls in there. Very carefully, one instrument at a time, stepped onto the bridge. Splits was trembling and spitting wildly. Wendy stared at the lake. She took slow, careful steps so she wouldn't fall. Reed noticed that the bridge had its own music, and he began playing the melody. Sly smiled and joined in with a stringy rhythm. One after another, each instrument added to the sound. Wendy realized that when they all played together, the air grew full of their music, and the bridge became more firm beneath their feet. Soon their music changed, matching and bending with the notes on the bridge. Wendy was thrilled. Kit kept the beat while Boomer hit the low notes. Ebony flashed a toothy grin as her keys twinkled like the stars above them. When they finally got across the bridge, they were very surprised to see a large crowd of people gathered there. An audience was attracted to the music as the instruments made their way across the bridge into Jazzland. Jazzland was a big city with tall buildings and bright lights everywhere. Flashing above a big recital hall, a huge sign spelled Jazzland, and bright neon lights. There were even more people inside the hall, and the audience cheered when the instruments entered. We made it, tooted Wendy. The group had worked so hard to get to Jazzland. Now, they all played the notes from their hearts and the music from their souls. The audience was so happy with the concert that they danced in the aisles, clapping and yelling, Hooray! When it was all over, Split said, You know, I guess we could do this anywhere. We just need the whole group to help us. You're right, Splits, Wendy agreed. Jazzland is not just a place across a bridge. It's in your heart, and you can get there anytime. The end. And there's a fun part in the book, too, where you can cut out and make your own instruments. Make your own Wendy the flute and Splits the trumpet. And all the other instruments in the book. So, thanks for watching our video, and you can, if you like it, please subscribe. And you can also go check out and buy this book on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. So, thanks for watching. Goodbye.